Hello and welcome to the first season of Off the Cuff. My name is Jared Crowley. I'm your host. I'm sitting with Pastor David Freck, lead pastor of Church of the Harvest. And Off the Cuff is basically, it's technically season 3 of That'll Preach, but we kind of wanted to rebrand it. We felt like That'll Preach didn't really convey what this actually is,
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was, we weren't really preaching any vignettes. It was more of a discussion,
Right.
more of Q&A
Yep.
kind of thing. And so we wanted to kind of communicate that a little bit better, a little bit more succinctly. So it kind of made sense to people that don't know what we're doing
Right.
and don't know what this is about. Hoping that it'll kind of hit the sweet spot with kind of the market and
For sure.
people that would maybe have an interest in looking into something
Yeah,
like what we're
yeah.
doing.
Right. Yeah. The discussion was, in terms of what we feel is like this show does best and what's more important. Most important is the discussion piece, but also the kind of the randomness of it, right? Because
and that's why we went with off the cuff, because it's completely random. I'm unprepared for whatever question is going to be thrown at me. And before we kind of put them in a pool, and then Jared and our online campus pastor would kind of sort through and decide which ones to. But now we're even making it more random, because now it's going to be a draw, or we're going to spin a wheel. So we're going to have some different ways that we're going to try to make it even more off the cuff,
for sure,
and create maybe even a little more fun with it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. So if you haven't watched That'll Preach, if you have no idea what we're talking about right now, basically the kind of format of the show is that we take your questions, your comments, different topics that you want to send in, and we kind of ask Pastor David to start a little discussion, share any thoughts about what he about the topic and different things like that. And so so if you want to send in your questions, we'll have an email right there, or a number that you can send those into. Or honestly, a lot of people just grab me on a Sunday morning and tell me their questions.
That's great.
Yeah, sometimes.
However you want to communicate them, we'd love to get them. Off the cuff is trying to build a new, maybe expand itself a little bit and reach further and deeper than kind of just our church collective.
Right.
And
for sure.
If there's people that might be interested in the content, share it with somebody, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
For sure. All right, you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay, sweet.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Should we have a drum roll involved here?
Okay. All right, let's take a look at, Okay, so this one is, someone wanted to have you talk about the importance of our words.
Oh, okay. The importance of our words. Well, the Bible clearly says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. We are in greater or lesser degree products of our profession and confession. That can be taken to extremes, as anything can, but I think our words are critical. In fact, the Bible talks in relationship to God himself. The scriptures say that he magnifies his word above his name. So if you think about it in that context, your name is validated based on how you perform according to your word.
Sure. Yeah.
So if we don't do well with our word, if our word doesn't mean anything, then our name is mud. If our word is meaningful, if we make a promise and we fulfill it, if you hear any language like, if he told you he'd do it, he'd do it, then you're elevating your name. So in that context, God has clearly magnified his word above his name, because he understands that his name is predicated on his word. So I think it's always important to understand that there's several ways we can relate to it. The first one is being people of our word. So it's relationship to promise, it's relationship to commitment, to what we let our yes be yes, our no be no.
Right. Yeah.
The idea, are we people of our word? Does it matter? Or are we one of those people that when people relate to us, they don't have high regard for what we say, because our word doesn't mean that much, because we don't handle it as precious or significant or valuable. We don't understand that our reputation is connected to our word. And so that's one way of relating to our word. The second way of relating to our words is framing life and death in our words. So is the language that comes out of our mouth. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So is what's coming out of our mouth is a reflection of what is in our heart and what is in our mind. So to say something and say, oh, I didn't mean that, or to say something that's wounding and say, well, I hope you didn't take that wrong, is a little disingenuous. So I realize that does happen in innocent ways, but it's really important the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it proceeds the issues of life. So how do I know what's proceeding out of my heart? Well, the faucet for my heart is my mouth. So whatever my words turn on is what is in my heart. So my words then become a magnifying glass, a window into what's in my heart.
Yeah, definitely.
So am I a man of faith? Am I a man of doubt? Am I a man of fear? Am I a man of encouragement and confidence? Am I a man that's thankful? Am I a man that's critical? And this is all related. How do I know that? How do I know that? I only know that by your words.
Sure, yeah.
So once again, life and death is in them. So you want to speak life, you want to speak blessing. The Bible says, bless and curse not. So the idea is to be intentional with your words. So there's this idea that if I'm free with my language, just not having to be thoughtful with it. In other words, it's authentic. It's not, I'm not going through a bunch of mental gymnastics as I'm communicating. Then it's more genuine. And I think that that's true. But sometimes when you listen to what you say, you might actually be appalled with what you say. Because we always judge ourselves by our intentions, and we always judge others by their actions. And so it's really important that we listen to what we say, that we try to frame a world, our world, by our words. And so it will influence our cultures, our home, our workplace, our school, wherever it's at. It'll influence our culture, the way we talk. It'll influence our own attitudes. It will make us either receptive or reticent of receiving correction, instruction, edification, exhortation, comfort, and oftentimes our words will set that stuff up. So it becomes really important. So it's a window, but it's also a seed where it invites specific kinds of growth. So if all you're hearing from me is negative and you'll never and I'll never and we'll never, then what happens is it begins to sow that kind of seed in your world, and the next thing you know, you've framed your world by your words. So it's really important scripturally. I think the word emphasizes it dynamically. And I think it's important that we are thoughtful and that we are specific in the way we talk and the words that we use and how we use them. And because it will create a better quality of life for us, and it'll reflect the goodness and glory of God too. So I think it's, let the high praises of God be in their mouth, right, and the two-edged sword in their hands. I will praise the Lord, bless the Lord at all times. His praise will continually be in my mouth. So it's this idea that I want to fill my mouth wants to be filled with praise, edification, exhortation, and comfort. And if we can strive for that in our language, we'll become that in our person. It's a way of kind of molding our interior man. So
you think that's how it happens? You fix the way you speak, you pay attention to the way you speak, and then...
Well, it's a window, right? So it kind of reveals to you how you're thinking, how you're relating, what your attitude is towards things. And if you can be honest about what you're hearing, right? Or if people saying, you always say that, or I don't even like to talk to you because you're always so negative, kind of stuff. Well, don't just kind of say, you don't know what you're talking about. No, hey, they're the ones that are listening to you. So you probably should take pause at that and realize, okay, I need to get control over that. And even if it doesn't feel real authentic to me, don't be disingenuous, but be intentional. Right?
That makes sense.
So don't give yourself over to the negative and to the wrong and to the, the stuff that would, degenerate a situation. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable unto thee, O God, my Redeemer. Right? Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart. Right? So the psalmist understood that those two things are dynamically linked, and that I need to be thoughtful in no idle word coming out of my mouth. An idle word doesn't mean, frivolous or anything. It means really idle in the sense of it has no value.
Interesting.
Vanity. It's this idea there's no value in what I'm saying.
Right.
And so try to avoid language that doesn't have value.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense.
So how could you convey something that is maybe critical in the right way, like positive criticism? Right. So you're doing something, but it's not good that you're doing it. How do I convey that? And should I convey that? Right. Yeah. So what do you think? Should I convey that? If I have a responsibility to help somebody along, should I ever say something negative if the purpose behind it is to create a positive result?
I think so. I think, especially, I think it depends on relationship for sure. Like, does this person know that you have their best intentions in mind? But I think if you've already established that relationship dynamic, I don't think there's ever an issue, maybe not ever, but I don't think in most cases there's an issue with saying, hey man, you're better than this, this doesn't line up with who you are. You know?
Right. And so once again, it doesn't preclude that we don't have to say things that would maybe be critical, or maybe would be corrective, or maybe would be instructive, because and you have to say, no, we don't do it this way. This is the way we do it. It's not saying that we remove any of those dynamics. It's just saying being careful with the way we say those things.
Sure.
Right? And I agree that it's usually the relationship that is key to that, but it's not always the case. It's not always the case. So, it would be wrong for me to see somebody stepping out into traffic and not scream, hey, stop. I know you want to do that and it might hurt your feelings, but I'm saving your life. Right? So that's an obvious example. But the point is it's really, it doesn't mean the exclusion of what would be considered maybe negative words, but they're not spoken for negative reasons or for negative purposes.
Right.
And that's the difference.
Yeah, and I think the authenticity piece goes along with that too. You know what I mean? If you're authentically worried about somebody, it's not going to feel like a negative thing for you to criticize a situation.
Right. Yeah. So it's always a balance. I've seen people get really almost imprisoned by, what I call the word trap, where it's I can only speak faith. And then it's like you can't say anything to be corrective, and that's not right either. I mean, Jesus said some pretty dramatic and maybe you would consider controversial and even negative things. Specifically in confronting the scribes and Pharisees, he called them whitewashed tombs and sepulchers that are full of dead men's bones. They sought around the world to make somebody twofold more the child of hell than they were themselves. I mean, this is language. I was like, whoa, coming from Jesus, right? So once again, his intention was to bring correction, to bring instruction, to operate in authority, and to confront a wrong. Right. And so it's, we got to balance that well. We got to have the right heart, the right intention, and that's really the key.
For sure.
And hopefully it seeps through the language.
Yeah, for sure, man.
No, so hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it's super helpful to me because I think especially the relationship between white knuckling it and like really thinking about what you're saying, but then also maintaining that authenticity. I think that's kind of the hardest piece of that, you know what I mean? But all that makes a lot of sense. So
Yep, absolutely.
Appreciate you, man. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for that question, and we will see you next week.
All right.